who do I want to... Do I want to go with the dads? And the uncle? Dad and the uncle, or do I want to go with the kids? the mom, the older brother, and the kids. Though I have read much on the subject of Radzat-Han, this visit shall be my first. 'Twill be interesting to see how the Hanish mean to contend with the tower, different as their magical and technological disciplines are. So it's back to Thavnair. Had I known earlier, I would have considered more suitable attire. I still don't understand how the vote could be unanimous. What could possibly convince them all to turn their backs on Eorzea? If the Forum is intent on concealing its intentions, then a cursory investigation will avail us little, I suspect. We will need to dig deeper, and with the greatest of care. Our tour of the city was a pleasant distraction. I feel more than ready now to tackle the challenges of the day. The process by which Forum members are elected is fair and equitable. Neither wealth nor social standing offers any advantages to a prospective candidate, but fairly elected or not, Master Matoya still found them all to be insufferable. Personally, I think staying here would flow a little bit better with the story. I want to see more of Charlian because we just got here. If we go with Thancred, I feel like we're already automatically jumping to a different area. I'm gonna go with Krell first. An unsettling change has come over Charlian, but together we will divine the underlying cause of the Forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what, and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scouring Charlian's archives of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day, but now that I have this band of willing reinformants, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Nomenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right, and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Nomenon, Charlian's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of many at that, for the archives of Nomenon extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the great Google Library pale in comparison to Nomenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Oh, that is cool. Any citizen of Charlian is free to enter and peruse its shelves, well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Ishtal and Raha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alisei and Alfino will help me continue my research through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Oh, I can't explore other places? Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Charlian history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they found some promising tomes. Happy reading! This is the library of my dreams! Oh, were you looking for a specific volume? Only Archons may check out the forbidden tomes. But if there is anything else you require, simply say the word. So I don't get to... I can't go downstairs? Brightly colored book. The title on the spine reads The Story of Charlian. Read the book. Long, long ago, on an island in the northern sea, there lived a Rogadin man by the name of Nyankrep. Nyankrep was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was that he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew and set sail for the imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror the strangely churning waters drove the people toward the ocean. It was there, however, that Nyankrep's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Nyankrep wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop Abalathea's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Nyankrep gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Sharlayan we live in to this day. Roads of Old, the colony. Many years ago, on the banks of the Thaliak in the Dravanian hinterlands, a Sharlayan colony once thrived. The settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th astral era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Sharlayans. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Sharlayan colony. Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Sharlayan, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Sharlayan inhabitants, if pressed for a name, would simply refer to it as the Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. Oh, cool! Time-worn dome. Stewards of Wisdom. During the chaos of the sixth umbral calamity, Archon Nyankrep, founder of the Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the northern Empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Sharlayans took to heart the words of their savior and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading. With knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth in coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founders' teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war and with the knowledge deliver the world. Forever 20 Summers. Read the book. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed the rest of your body as you should? I too once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night engrossed in philosophical study I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us into reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Thus do I share with you this mantra. I am forever 20 summers young. Wow. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19 or 23 or 40, whatever age you are when you discover this manual. Let that be the age you aspire to remain. Through mind-healthy living, you will extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, aetherological, and arcane viewpoint. This book is on the wrong subject. An introduction to the heavens. Heaven's War? Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and the twinkling tapestries of the night. Some think the dome above us to be a finite space, yet among the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologists of Alag who came closest to understanding the laws which governed that starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalamud and sought to expand beyond our earth-bound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their positions continue to shift almost imperceptibly, but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? The voice of a growing city. In the years which followed the founding of Charleon, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The large number of participants gave rise to even longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Charleon would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the forum as we know it today conceived and created. I like how I was able to read all of the books. I wanted to make sure I'd borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphino and Kraus should also be along shortly. I was delayed in a similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final days specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangential relevant tomes, if they are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read, and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. Aw, it's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphino and I were to return to Charleon, we were not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charleon, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern reaches of Ilzabard, in fact. For generations my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite the island of Thavner. The Alligans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign. And when the fifth calamity froze the seas solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amonis. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. Oh? House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allaganai no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allag. As the last child born with the Allagan Eye, I was given over to the custody of friends in the students of Baldessian, who had me registered as a Charlean citizen. I never even considered. Forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louisois, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and wives and rescued orphans are more common among Charleans than you might think. Yet regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. 'Tis exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish it to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Hear, hear! Another good reason to get to the bottom of the forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books, Zordia. More company should be arriving any moment now. There are others better suited to poring over old books, history books, so I thought I'd try my luck with more recent events, if I can find anything to better inform the forum's baffling behavior. What else do I know of Corvos? Precious little, I'm afraid. I've not returned since Master Galuf first brought me here. I can tell you that Corvosi rebels still seek to slip the yoke of their imperial masters, though the fighting is far less fierce than it once was. Oh, and they have carpets! Flying carpets! Is there a flying carpet mount? The legends are quite extraordinary. Flying carpets! We've returned with our selections. Although I must say the pickings were quite slim indeed, Mistress Kryl has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers of the umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarot firsthand, and fear I may be overlooking a critical detail. Sure, let's explain. How the sky fell. How the echo is. My thanks. Now where to begin? First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? Complete destabilization of creation magics. Primals of unrivaled power were summoned from the aether. The worst kind of phenomenon you can imagine. Complete destabilization of creation magics. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion. Meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Ishtala surmised that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Esseans. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? The entire star was engulfed by disaster all at once. They say it began with the keening sound from the land itself. Oh yes, the Amarotins spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarot was spared. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Nomenon's Mamets. Oh, they're Mamets! And ask after any books which may mention such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? I bet if you answer any of these wrong, Alphino, fixes it for you. They summoned Zodiark. It's like they're testing me on whether I remember this stuff. It's a good thing I've been watching other streamers, especially Pyromancer. There are things that Pyromancer sometimes say that I'm just like, oh, noted. Noted. Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiark a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal, or might have had Venat and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telephoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing with those towers of theirs, is forcing people to summon primals, a kind of catalyst. Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech? A convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash. But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Ishtala, but 'tis time we began studying these research papers. Many forum members are also researchers or professors. If they know aught of the final days, then that knowledge might surface in their writing. That is my hope, anyway. It really is comforting to have all these dedicated assistants on hand. Right then, enough chatting, more reading. Okay, waiting for Ishtala. Why did I almost say Ilishtala? Ishtala probably has the true details. She probably found something. I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Archon stacks produced one or two possibly useful books. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urianger learned of the source's reflections from the Gerun oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Google Library. 'Tis even less likely that the knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason, then, that my colleagues, be they archons or counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet when you confronted Master Fortunato with knowledge of the Telephoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the forum would know if the final days were truly upon us, which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the forum's behavior is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty, whether they contain mention of the final days or no. These books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Ha! You labor for what feels like an age as Ishtala's research assistant. Your efforts to gain Grahatia's attention go unnoticed. He appears to be lost in his reading. I found naught of interest so far. I think Ishtala might be right about not getting our hopes up. Thank you for your help, but I think I can manage the rest without your assistance. If I were you, I'd steal a few quiet moments for myself. Oh dear, you look exhausted! But what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? Then the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a mammoth at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Ready for a tea break, Zordia? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables. I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. As busy as ever, I see. How very Charlian that no other gourmet cafes has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Telephoroi. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Yay! She's gonna accompany me! Oh, heck yeah! Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Pray excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Telephoroi and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Levelier. My apologies, but I work in the offices of the forum. If word reached Master Fortunato that I was helping you... I see, we're sorry to have bothered you. What? What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You misunderstand, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew of the Telephoroi. These enemies of peace have promised an end to all we hold dear and... Wait, you're that House Levelier girl, aren't you? And this woman with you is obviously a foreigner. Huh. I'd heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims, and here you are, giving truth to the rumor. I'll thank you to leave me be. I've naught to say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. 'Twas foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Come, Zordia. Welcome, madam. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mistress Ilise I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon. No laughing. It's his name. He was born with this name. Don't laugh at his name. Meet Dickon. The owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, in between lessons at the studium. It seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and Master Alfino had set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately, there have been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Levelier, no matter how discreet Master Forchanal may have been. News of your family's doing never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions, and only Charlian has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here for, and that's what you're here to find? Information on this apocalypse? Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. But maybe there is. You're a visitor to Charlian, aren't you? Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. We just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea, I hate to ask, but what do you think? That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes needs to go. The tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. The omelette is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them, you should see a Makoti gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck. They had the tea set. Oh, my tea set! Lovely, thank you. The Telefo who? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them, or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about ritual arcane practices of the 6th Astral Era, common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off. 2, 4, 6, 8, let's dig in, no time to waste. What? The Telephoroi? Ah, yes, I remember seeing the name at the latest Gazette. That and some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. The Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. At last! The oven-baked lobster is mine! Is that Kryle? You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. Final days, this is the first I've heard of it. Although, that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. Gleaner? What's a gleaner? You don't know what a gleaner is? Oh, read my mind. They're collectors of sorts. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Charlian. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. So named for those folk who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Telephoroi make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor, and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from docks all day. It's never been this hectic before, not like this. Oh, it's McDowell! Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon. I'm an adult. Even Dickon had nothing to offer, and he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, the cup of coffee I promised. But let's enjoy our drinks somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossips and their wagging tongues. Yo, that cup of coffee.
お父様に感動を言い渡されたこと、別に冗談だと思ってたわけじゃないのよ。ただ実感はしてなかったのかも。あんな扱いを受けて今やっと身に染みてきたっていうか。シャーレアンに行こうって決めた時のこと覚えてる？ラハがただならない事態が起きてるからこそお父様はあんな突き放し方をしたのかもって。実際そうなのかもしれない。頭が固くておじい様とは何度も喧嘩してた人だけど、血を流すがいいだなんて決して言わなかったもの。でもね、戦うことが正しいのかって問いに答えられなかったのも本当。そのことでアルフィノは思い悩んでたけど、私は進んできた道を間違えたなんて思えなかった。だからただ怒って反発して、そっちの方が立ち悪いわよね。少し見方を変えたら自分も頑固で独善的なのかもって後になってからふと気づいたの。あの時あの問いになんて答えたら自分もお父様も裏切らずにいられたんだろう。
That's a lot of stuff. What are they packing? What is that?
中に入っていったってことはラビリンソスへの搬入ね。
They've been mentioning the goods. They said it's not normal.
この島の地下にある大きな施設のことよ。
Beneath the island?
シャーリアンといえば世界中から知識を集めてるでしょ。それは何も紙や試験管に収まるものだけじゃないわ。動物や植物、さまざまな命ある資料を生きたまま保管、研究する。それがラビリンソスってわけ。
Wait. Don't they do this? There's a place in, was it Greenland or is it Iceland, where they have it's a safe house where it has different kinds of flowers or seeds from all over the world. It's a facility. So if the end of the world does happen or things get out of whack, this place, they have the seed vault. Is Charlian doing this because they think the rest of the world is going to explode and they're going to survive? This is just my postulation. I'm not asking you guys to answer me. Oh, it's in Norway, Sweden. I think not Iceland. Okay. Thanks, Kieran. I remember reading about it. Interesting. The parallels are very cool.
にしてもかなりの荷物だったわね。私が住んでた頃は船を使うような搬入自体めったに見なかったのに。
Are they trying to save as many relics as possible?
ラストスタンドで聞き込みをしてくれた時、グリーナーの出入りが頻繁になってるって話があったのよね。
Yeah.
さっきの船に乗ってたのも多分グリーナーだわ。それもラビリンソスに搬入を行える議会公認のグリーナー。彼らの動きが最近テロフォロイが現れた頃から活発になっているなら、そこに哲学者議会の思惑が隠れてるかも。
Oh, we're gonna sneak in? We should tell the others what we've learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Nomenon, and I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back. Is Graha still engrossed in reading? Probably. Oh no! Is that coffee I smell? Did I miss the tea break? Where is Alyssé? I thought she was with you. My loyal assistant returns. There is a lexicon on the first floor that I need you to... you found something, haven't you? Welcome back, Zordia. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. Explanation. It makes sense. The Gleaners take the requests directly from the institutions and the bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. a sudden and significant increase in gleaner traffic and in cargo, it certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Ishtala observed earlier, Nomenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Zordian and Elisee learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Charlians know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetuated by the Telephoroi is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service of the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves. And if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. What should we expect down there? Oh, I would hate to spoil the surprise. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I would like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. Aw, that's nice of you. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Raha for the win! Let's head down the stairs over there, and I'll show you where the entrance is. Ready? Labyrinthos is not far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Off we go then. Hey, we are walking. It's pleasant here amongst the trees. But we really should move along. Now we run. Try to keep up. Keep to the path straight ahead. Cross this bridge. We run. Oh, up here. This is so cute. I'm really liking this. I'm just imagining this on the first day of Endwalker release and a bunch of people just running. The rostra, not far now. Here we are, through this door and down the stairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, didn't you? It will make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. I've not been to Labyrinthos in the longest time. Even as a student, my visits were few and far between. How did the Forum learn of the final days, and exactly how much do they know? More to the point, what do they intend to do about it? Hopefully the answer to at least one of those questions lies below. You didn't take a wrong turn into the rostra there, did you? I doubt the Forum would take kindly to you barging into a private session. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right, everyone onto the lift and down we go.
そこには偽りの空がある。溢れた資料を床に積むものはどんな時代にも存在したが、この施設の保安者も確実にその口だろう。住めなくなれば別の場所へ、空きもなければ作ってしまえというわけだ。
Dude,
おそらく最初はそれだけのこと、それだけのことがすり替えられた。知識は黙々と積まれていく。まるで抜け出すことのできない迷宮を築くかのように。
Labyrinthos, the northern empty. Ooh, this music!
驚いた？本物みたいな空だけど作り物よ。
This is cool.
ここは正真正銘シャーレアン島の地下。感じる風も流れる水も人の力で作り出したものなの。
That's crazy.
シャーレアン島は火山島。この空間は大昔の溶岩だまりだったのよ。それを400年ほど前に見つけて資料や生態サンプルを保管する場所として改築してきた。深部は今なお拡張されていると聞くわ。
It goes even lower?
ねえ、あれグリーナーの人たちじゃない？
格好からしてそのようだね。彼らは単独行動している印象が強いが、今日は随分集まっているようだ。
Oh, they're breaking the rule? Why?
君たちが予想した通り、いつもとは違った仕事をしているのかもしれないね。
Would they be willing to talk to us about it?
早速手分けして話を聞いてみましょう。
Cryo?
今私を呼んだかしら。
Oh, is it Heidelin?
気のせい。昇降機で急に下がってきたからかしら。ごめんなさい。お互いに情報収集頑張りましょう。
Okay, I'm worried. That's worrying. That's worrying. Dude! This is cool! What the heck? These zones are so cool. Oh, it's pretty... Wait, what? This is a whole map? This is a whole area? Excuse me? Wait. No. Is this? This is not a whole area. This is not. Are you kidding? Really? You want to know what I'm doing? Hauling books and ore and fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock of Labyrinthos. You know, sort and tidy up the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before, though. They just did one a few summers ago, even. Then, with no warning at all, this mess gets dropped in our lap. Orders from on high. Damned if I know the reason. Could be they're changing the layout, preparing for the next big expansion. Most of those gathered here appear to be gleaners. Why don't you wander around and try making small talk? Excuse me, are you a gleaner? If you don't mind, I have some questions to ask. Fascinating. Could we go back to what you were saying earlier? You here to help or give me more headaches? Because you don't have the look of a gleaner, and I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have a pack of marmots running loose. Whoa! I can't really see it that well because it's nighttime, but whoa! Can I fall? Is this... Oh, you can fall. You can fall, you can fall, you can fall, you can fall, you can fall. Nay, I'm not shirking my duties. I've not been down here in an age and wish to get my bearings before I went bumbling about. From what I can see, however, there is not obviously out of place. It seems we shall have to resort to discreet inquiries as usual. Let me think. The rear should be item 158. Cumin seeds, 159. Snurbbleberry, 160. Or were they 161? My head feels like it's stuffed with moko grass. Why more loads to take out than carry in? Take out? Why do all this at once and risk mixing it up? What if someone mistakes the Corthan carrots for Girabanian carrots? What then? Any luck, Zordia? What tales did the gleaners have to tell? So this grand operation began without warning, and for every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We were right, the form is definitely up to something, and they're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process. Are they getting paid by Fandaniel? Because Fandaniel has a lot of money. They wouldn't stoop that low, would they? We would do well to learn more of what specifically the Gleaners are being tasked to do, as well as who has tasked them to do it. If you're game Zordia, I have an idea. Did one of the Gleaners you mentioned say something about escaped marmots? Perhaps if you were to help him capture said creatures, he might be inclined toward a more friendly and enlightening conversation. I like how we knelt down for this. In the meantime, I will turn my charms upon this Gleaner here. We can compare notes afterwards. Happy hunting! You wish to help me find the marmots. I've nothing suitable to pay you for your services, but if you're offering out of the goodness of your heart, I'd welcome the assistance. The name's Erenville, friend. Specialist in the collection of live specimens. That said, the capture of these Nagshan marmots is a trial I've no desire to repeat. Grizzled mice, they call them. For mercy, there are no other marmot species on this tier at present, so there should be no mistaking our little fugitives. If you happen to catch any, stuff them in this sack, gently, of course. Where to begin, you wonder? I've not seen any scampering around here, so we'll need to widen our search into the surrounding forest. Be on your guard, there are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on a marmot, or you. Okay, let's find these marmots. Barely have you readied the sack when the grizzled mouse scampers off into the underbrush. The rodent nimbly evades your grasp before once more disappearing into the trees. Bruh! More prepared for its speed this time, you succeed in closing the sack over your elusive quarry. Got it. How did you fare? I tracked Down 3 of the pack, which leaves one unaccounted for. Ah, that's thawed Marmot out. Wait here a moment while I put our friends in a holding cage. Thankfully, the marmots seem to be unharmed. It's a good thing we were able to recapture them so swiftly. You have my thanks. I asked you to capture them in the first place. Is the wall changing colors? Oh, no, that was just because it became daytime. What will you do with the marmots now? Less conspicuous. That's for the Forum to decide. They are the guiding authority behind Labyrinthos, after all, and this job was but one small part of this great inventory of theirs. Suitable for consumption and easy to breed. Those were the 2 conditions I was given for the stock I was instructed to procure. I don't know what the Forum has planned for these creatures, but at the very least I doubt they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. There you are, Zordia. Is this the gleaner you mentioned, the one who was looking for lost marmots? Interesting company you keep, friend. Who are you folks, anyway? I'm Kryle of the Students of Baldessian. These others are my associates. Truth be told, the Forum's decision of late have not set entirely well with us. That is why we made the descent into Labyrinthos. We hope that by seeing those decisions put into action, we might more fully understand their reasoning. Wise and practical. Never hurts to try and gain a broader perspective, does it? Anyway, duty calls. Other animals to capture and enclosures to empty. Once again, I'm sorry I can't offer you more for your service. Did you learn anything new from your friend there? So we've confirmed that the order for this ambitious operation did indeed come directly from the Forum. However, the Gleaners have not been informed of its purpose. I'd say that fits with everything we've heard thus far. We also discovered when the operation was begun, the Forum contacted the Gleaners' guild ship and put their people to this great work some 4 days after the Telephoroi made their chilling declaration. As seasoned travelers, the Gleaners keep abreast of news from every corner of the world out of necessity, thus I am inclined to trust that their calendar of events is accurate. Altogether, it gives the distinct impression that this undertaking was a sudden and unexpected development, and I find it hard to believe that such a comprehensive restructuring of Labyrinthos and its archives could have been planned in so brief a window. Nay, this plan was long in the making. They were but awaiting the right time to put it into effect. And the Telephoroi's declaration was what set it all in motion. Seems likely, but let us not leap to conclusions just yet. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of the Labyrinthos. The more facilities we visit, the more pieces of the puzzle we stand to find. In that case, how about we head to the Archeon? From there we can reach the lower... Kryle? Kryle, what's wrong? I'm fine. Truly, the sudden descent has left me with a bit of a headache, that's all. Nothing will stop me from soldiering on. Let's be about it then. At least allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I remember the way to the Archeon. We followed the path east, through the forest where you were chasing after that mouse, or marmot, was it? Anyway, 'tis the trolls you need to watch out for. This is the foremost material archive in Charleon. I should love to explore its treasures shelf by shelf, but I fear we have little time for such indulgences. Were you caught in mist on your way here? The sprayers keep the air humid, so the habitat feels as close as possible to a natural forest. Oh, wow. Don't worry about me. I'm hale and healthy. In fact, I'm beginning to suspect that. Nay, let's discuss this later. The investigation demands our undivided attention. Behold, the Archeon. As Nomenon serves as Charlene's literary archive, so does this structure house the city's wealth of material data. The architecture, too, is similar. The building you see here is merely the upper entrance, an access point to the vaults carved in the cliffside itself. Within those vast rooms are stored countless samples and specimens, as well as the detailed records which describe them. In a manner of speaking, the Archeon contains a physical history of Charlene's unwavering dedication to the accumulation of knowledge. Well, we won't learn anything of value standing out here. Let us proceed into the main building and speak with the custodian. Greetings, we're here to peruse the Archeon's vaults. Peruse? You are clearly not gleaners, then. Might I ask your affiliation? We belong to the Students of Baldessian. But is that relevant? I was given to believe the vaults, those open to the public at least, were open to the public. Ordinarily, yes, that would be the case. At present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved in the reorganization efforts are permitted to enter. That's us. What are they doing? Not us then. I suppose we had better move along to another facility. This building has a lift which connects to the middle tier, yes? Might we at least make use of that? No? That service has also been suspended, I'm afraid. For the time being, priority has been given over to the conveyance of inventory. What? So this is as far as we can go? I apologize for the inconvenience. Please come again after our restructuring operation is concluded. By that time, it will be too late. We were so close to getting answers. We need to rethink our approach. Let us step outside for the moment, shall we? Students of Baldessian. Why he sus? The Forum must be wary of exposure indeed to so heavily restrict the use of public institutions. If they're going to close off some facilities, then they ought to announce it. The students must be furious. Labyrinthos is constructed in the shape of a mortar. This upper layer is called the outer circuit, and the medial circuit lies one tier below us. We are at an impasse, as we have no other leads. I should like to pursue this one further, but I doubt that our stone-faced custodian will be swayed by a heartfelt pleas. We must seek another means to access the lower levels. It is likely that the people in this area are involved in the restructuring in one way or another. If we were to ingratiate ourselves, they might allow us to accompany them on the lift. Let us ask around. Surely someone is in need of a few strong backs to lighten the load. What's that? Take you down to the lift with me? Sorry, but not a chance. I've been up and down all day, and only now have I finally found a spare moment to rest. I did see a gleaner fellow heading out the gate there, though, shouldering a large pack, engaged in some manner of task. Maybe he'll head down below after he's done with whatever he's doing. Am I taking the lift? Oh no, we're just students. They won't let us into the Archeon, even though we found... Actually, we have no idea what it is we found. There's no record of such a creature anywhere, but it was wandering around Tranquility, and so we thought to donate it to the vaults. What's in... Wait! Oddest little squeal, don't you think? Anyway, I suppose we'll have to take care until the Archeon's open again. Quiet, you'll frighten it away. Ah, it's you again. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in the middle of another task. The cloudkin I need to capture is close, very close. You wish to help me with this too? You spend your time in unusual ways, my friend. Still, 2 hunters are generally better than 1, very well. The canal here is a common gathering spot for birds of all kinds, but the one I'm after today is the hornbill. Hornbill! Its feathers are green and its cry a distinctive caw. Single it out and shoot it with the sleeping dart. You've sedated the wrong bird. Ha! I didn't know you could fail that. Well, now you know, Frizz. Now you know. I thought I'm supposed to go for the one that says caw caw. Is it not this? Is it this one? Oh, he gets a voice? Why this bunny boy kinda hot? He gets a voice? I like him.
何か有力な情報はあった？さっきのクリーナーと再会してホーンビルをねえ外で捕まえた生き物を運んでくるのはわかるけどラビリンソスの中で捕まえてどうするのかしら。
何？珍しいことでもないさ。観察を終えたりここでの育成が難しかった動植物は運び出されることがあるんだよ。野生に返す以上条件は厳しいけどな。それを丁重に故郷へお届けするのも俺らグリーナーの仕事ってわけさ。ただまあ今回に関しては運ぶ先が違う。
The bird below.
頼まれてるのは下への移送だからな。
Oh, we going with him.
ラビリンソスの仮想には哲学者議会に指名された研究者のみが立ち入れる区画がある。他国に決して明かせない先端技術や禁忌魔法を研究しているとも噂されているけれど私たち賢人ですら真実を伺い知ることはできない。
Oh, what?
そこで働く研究員たちを専用の施設に住まわせ 町に出さないくらいの徹底ぶりだもの。
そんな場所になぜホーンビルを？研究に必要なのだろうか。
Experiment? I'm liking Erenville.
ただ俺や仲間に渡されてる内外から下へ運ぶ対象のリストを見ると最先端の研究のためって感
But
じじゃない
why? I'm very curious as to
どちらか
why.
といえば南方大陸に乗り込む準備とでも言われた方がしっくりくる。
どういうこと？
運び込むように指示されてるのは安定した食料供給を見込めそうな動植物、
Oh?
それに比較的変化に強い種や過酷な環境への耐性があるもの、土壌や水質の改善に用いられるやつらもだな。
Oh, what? This
確
sus.
かに。まるでどこかに入植しようとしてるみたいね。
もっとも根拠のない憶測だけどな。グリーナーが触れてるのは思惑のほんの一角だろうさ。
Erenville
俺ら
dope.
はただ
Join
運
the
んだも
Scions.
のが正しく知識として残されることを願うだけだ。ものであれ命であれな。
This music is
ってこと
amazing.
で俺はもう行く。大した礼もできなくて悪いな。
Hey, you don't have to reward me.
ねえ、物は相談なのだけれど、私たち下の階層に降りられなくて困ってるの。あなたが下へ動物たちを収めに行くなら同行者として連れて行ってもらえないかしら。
いや悪いがそれは難しいな。動物たちは揃い次第リフトで送ることになってる。
Can we be on the animal lift?
俺も報告のために降りはするが、そこに至って荷物持ちだと紹介するわけにもいかないだろう。
ごもっともね。忘れてちょうだい。
She tried. She tried. Bun boys are great.
おたくら腕と足腰に自信はあるか？もしそうなら降りる方法がないわけじゃない。
We're gonna climb?
この道の先に第33期拡張行動がある。ラビリンソスを拡張すると同時に鉱物資源を得るための場所さ。安全は確保されてないが、そこを通ればミディアルサーキットまでは降りられるはずだ。
Oh? Okay.
それは私も初耳よ。貴重な情報助かるわ。
どういたしまして。だが行くのは自己責任だぞ。難しいと思ったらやめておけよ。それじゃあな。
Thanks, Erenville. You rock.
ここで行かないって選択肢はないわよね。ともかく行動の様子を見てみましょう。
I never would have noticed this cave on my own. Thank the scholar that Erenville knew of it, and that you were there to persuade him to share. I took a quick peek inside, but it's awfully dark in there. The medial circuit, which Erenville mentioned, is the tier directly below us. Unlike the lowest level of Labyrinthos, which is with its rigid security, one can usually roam the middle tier quite freely. Let us see what we might find. This must be it, the entrance to the main shaft. 'Tis faint, but I hear something moving within. Creatures homed there by the researchers, you think? Well, slavering beasts aside, we will need to watch our footing. We should tighten our straps and such before we continue.
I said, welcome to my world.